And the winner is number 25.
Right, it would be 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Lauren Ann McGuinness. So that's Lauren Ann McGuinness as the winner of the Ultimate Purple Army Package competition, and Natalie, Natalie, is the runner-up.
Is that both winners who have never won anything for Robins before?
Yeah. Because
it's nice
a change. It does make a change.
To get some new winners in.
Okay, we're going to go out. There's a couple of hot topics. Well, I don't know if there's so much hot, but we couldn't have 100th episode without getting Graham wound up in a rant about Fife, really, Stephen, could we?
No, I mean, he's been wanting to do it for a while, so here we go. We should have done it last week when he wasn't on, just to annoy him. That would have been good.
I would have been interested to hear what you had to say, Stephen, just as I am tonight.
I think, I mean, we have to cater. We do have lots of guys and girls who listen who are fans of the Braehead Clan, but I think one of our most obsessed fans is actually a Fife Flyers fan, so we need to cater for him as well, don't we? And he knows who we're talking about, Stephen, don't you, Stephen? Obviously, you know, there is ramifications for this plexiglass thing. For those who aren't aware of the situation, last year after, you know, there was a fan and a Manchester player get involved, we can keep the names to protect the innocent. The Fife Flyers were ordered by the league with the paying of a fine if they didn't comply to put plexiglass behind the away bench, and it's been a bone of contention for the Braehead Clan for a considerable period of time as well. Obviously they've played a few home games already, Graham, and there is no sign of any plexiglass. The ramifications are does that mean that if you get a player who's banned for a couple of games and you don't fancy it, you just play him anyway because it doesn't really matter? I mean, that's the ramifications for it, really, isn't it?
Right, there's a lot to this. I'll summarise it as quickly as I possibly can. From my point of view, there's a whole load of different issues here, and although Fife fans are taking it very hard about the fact that I keep going on about this, it's about Fife, but it's actually more about the league. Rather than even Fife, although Fife are not helping the situation. In fact, they're creating the situation in the first place, but it's how the league are reacting to that, which is the second part of the problem. The £5,000 fine, incidentally, suspended, as were all the fines at the time, wasn't really about putting the plexi in. The plexi is mentioned separately as a separate instruction that Fife must install plexi behind the away bench. The £5,000 fine was in the instance of any future trouble with fans. And it's suspended running into this season, so presumably if there is any further trouble involving fans, then Fife should be due to pay £5,000, but they might just end up ignoring that as well. So, two main parts to this. Fife, bear in mind as well that Fife's website, along with every other club's website at the time, actually published the DOPS rulings. So this was on, and last time I looked, it's still on Fife Flyers' website, that Fife have to install plexi behind the away bench before the start of the season. I think it's the last line of that whole judgment thing. So, okay, they've not done it, which means that ostensibly they've ignored the league and DOPS instruction. And let's just call it the league rather than DOPS, because we know that DOPS is just whatever it is. Yeah. So it's the league, okay? And again, we know the league is just the collection of the owners, but, you know, that's kind of the main question mark against all of this is, what does this league want to be? Does it want to have any semblance of authority at all, or does it just want to be a make up as you go along and be obviously a make up as you go along kind of league? I don't honestly think it wants to be seen that way, but it's got to do certain things to you know, hopefully avoid it. So anyway, so the Fife Flyers, they haven't installed the plexi. I don't know what the cost would have been, a few £100 maybe, I don't know. But ostensibly there's no plexi in. They took a chance changing the crowd arrangements at the time. I won't go through the whole ancient history behind it, but obviously they were looking to up the intimidation factor. That got to the extent that the incident that happened when Manchester Storm were there happened. This was after other incidents, including stewards having to be gathered around the back of the away bench before when Clan were there. So, it's not as if that Storm incident was just a one-off, although not that serious. Anyway, so there's no plexi behind the away bench, so now it looks like Fife Flyers have just simply ignored the league instruction, which they themselves published. And to basically add to that situation, the league have said absolutely nothing. Not a single thing. Now, what are they supposed to say? Who knows? Even if it was some kind of statement to say that it's still under review with Fife, they're trying to sort it out with the arena, whatever. You don't want it to be complete BS, but you want some kind of official voice. And this is where, from my point of view, this is the worst thing of all. We're now, not for the first time, but this is, in my time following the IHL, in my view, this is a most serious case of us going down the road of, well, just don't say anything, everybody will forget about it. And that takes us down a very sinister, unprofessional road that nobody particularly wants to go down, or certainly shouldn't want to go down. And from my point of view, and it's not, I'm saddened because I seem to be one of the few people that's banging on about it. I'm concerned about how it makes the league look. I'm concerned about the mentality within the league that just thinks, well, we'll just drop this and then the fans will just forget about it. That's unacceptable. This league should be better than that. Whatever the solution is, and undoubtedly that's between the league, being the collection of the owners, and Rogue One, who's Fife Flyers. And, why are they making the league look bad? Why are they creating this situation? Is it just two fingers to the league and that's it? So, you've got two wrongs most certainly not making it right. And it saddens me greatly that it's, here's old Clantastic going on about it again. I got Fife Flyers giving me grief. Understandably, okay, they see it as their club being under attack, but their club's brought this on itself. They chanced its arm they chanced their arm in the first place, and now they're compounding it because you talk about ramifications. What happens if there's another incident? What happens then? What happens if somebody gets injured in another incident?
£5,000 fine, they'll just ignore.
They'll just ignore it. But, but then if somebody gets injured, nobody wants this to happen. But if there was another incident and, heaven forbid, there was some kind of injury involved, somebody's going to say, well, hang on a minute. This club were told to put plexi in to avoid this situation happening in the first place, and they haven't done it. So, it's a whole... If this was in any other sport, I can't see this kind of situation happening because somebody would be taking control of it, and that for me is the biggest issue of all. Nobody is owning this problem. We haven't heard a single thing from the league chairman about anything, let alone a league preview. Absolutely nothing from the league. And that, for me, is the worst thing of all. Even if it's a case of this is still under review, some kind of official word, but the whole mentality of, let's just not tell the fans anything and they'll forget about it, which seems to be, that may not be the case, but that's how it seems. That's the most shameful thing of all. And again, I'm looking at it as ever from the point of view of this league trying to be as professional as possible. It wants to bring in big sponsors, presumably. It wants to attract as much attention, move away from being the best kept secret, presumably. We know that some people probably don't want to do that. If you're going to be a big potential sponsor and you're going to invest a lot of money in this sport and you can see this sort of thing going on, are you going to want to do that? I doubt it. This league has to get its act together, and I'm only really picking up on this one specifically myself because for me this says it all. Nobody is taking ownership of this, and that's the biggest problem.
I know I have seen some of the responses you've been getting for Flyers fans on Twitter, but I absolutely have no doubt if the Clan had been instructed by the league to do something similar and hadn't done it, a lot of the Flyers fans would be the first ones on their case saying, we should be getting disciplined or fined or whatever.
Sorry, Ross. If the Clan had been instructed, do you think we wouldn't be on the Clan's case about it?
We would as well, yeah.
Because are we going to want our club to look like we're just troublemakers who are giving two fingers to the league? That's not how you move things forward. We'd be on Gareth and Andy's case straight away saying, come on, guys, what's going on? Stephen, I don't see any Fife fans doing that.
Oh, sorry. Stephen, after 100 episodes of working with you on this podcast, I need to ask you the burning question. Do you care about this? And I'm being semi-serious.
No, I know you're being serious, and the answer is no, because I was speaking to Stephen Dow about this, and the reason I say no is I saw this coming a mile away. I knew that the league, Fife would do nothing. I knew the league would do nothing about Fife doing nothing. You just look at it and go, there you go, it's happened. No surprise at all. It's sad that I've thought about that this was going to happen, but it's the reality of this league, isn't it? It's just, people say they're going to do something, they don't, and then everybody just moves on and we forget about it like the league hopes.
And sorry, Steve, I'm not picking on you, mate, but is that not the saddest thing of all, that most people don't care? Because that's how the league doesn't get any better. Because people don't care. I don't mean you personally, I just mean in general.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean, and it's sad that I think this way, but it's just played out exactly as I thought it would, and it's soul destroying in a way, isn't it? This is the way that the league seems to operate. They keep saying about how the on-ice product is getting better, and it is. We've seen that since Clan at the league, the standard of the hockey is a lot better, but the off-ice is gone backwards. It's not even stagnated. It's just the off-ice shenanigans the league is.
We're losing Stephen a wee bit. Jennifer? Sorry, he's back.
Sorry, I'm going out there.
Yeah.
I was just saying that the off-ice hasn't moved along at the same pace as the on-ice has, which is holding the league back, in my opinion. You know, with a four-man system, we're seeing DOPS rulings just being ignored and nothing being done about it. It's sad that this is the way the league is, and we need it better for the game overall to get better and progress, as Graham said, with sponsors and TV deals and all the rest of it. And it's just now, and it's pathetic, really.
Do you know, Stephen, that's probably one of the most eloquent and well thought out arguments that you've made in 100 episodes, and we lost half of it. Jennifer, I think the only way these two can sort it out is some bare-ass boxing, and we'll sell tickets.
Bagsy not being the camera woman.
Bagsy not being anywhere near it. What's your thoughts on the Fife thing? I know what Stephen's saying.
Yeah, I mean, obviously what Stephen has said is completely and utterly true, that obviously he has predicted what would happen, but what Graham's saying is completely and utter valid. If DOPS has any sort of hope or chance of even being considered as being fit for purpose, it has to be following through with the advisories that it's made against rulings from last year. The league can't be seen to burying its head in the sand the way that it has done with other incidents. Obviously, the other notable one that made national press is with David Sims and his homophobic comments. That's been another one that's completely and utterly been swept under the carpet and not dealt with. And I think for us to be taken seriously, these severe issues need to be dealt with. And until the league do that, it's a severe league.
Do you not think, Graham, playing devil's advocate here a wee bit, there's a lot of kind of politicking going on behind the scenes? If you believe a lot of the rumours that we heard at the start of the season, that Fife weren't really keen to be in the league, they were losing money and they didn't want that particular conference, do you think they're now saying to the league, if we put this up, we're just chucking it next year, we're not going to bother coming back? And that's what's putting the league in behind the 8 ball, so to speak. Is maybe, it's all speculation, but they obviously don't want to spend the money, or they'd have done it. And they're kind of maybe using this kind of politicking to try and get around it, and the league are kind of caught between a rock and a hard place. And it's always been a kind of league that's held together pretty loosely with if you like, gaffer tape kind of covering up the cracks. And although things have got majorly better since we came into the league, and then obviously Fife and the other new teams like Milton Keynes and Guildford seem as if they're coming into the league pretty stable so far. Manchester are doing okay. It still seems to be a league that's kind of sewn together, and it's held together through sort of backdoor deals, if you like, if that's the right word for it. But do you think that's what's going on here?
The truth is, obviously, I don't know, but if there is any politicking going on, and I would suggest that there probably is, then that just makes things look even worse, because where does it stop? If Fife don't like something else that's decided through DOPS this coming season, what do they do then? I mean, from my point of view, this is the whole thing. Fife published the findings of the DOPS investigation, if you want to call it that. I mean, Dobbs essentially did nothing. All he did was dish out some suspended fines, so it didn't cost anybody a penny. And there's this whole issue about the league fining itself anyway. What the hell does that actually mean? But the upshot of all the actions in that whole big statement was that Dobbs did nothing. So nobody was penalised. Other than, the player's suspension. So at the end of the day, fine, move on from it. But there was one instruction in that was quite clear.